back on the clock here at the back end of the second. So we have two picks here at the turn. What do we notice so far about the first two rounds? Well, no quarterbacks, no tight ends have been selected. If we want to start the trend at either position, we could certainly do so at the 2.10 or the 3.1. All of the QBs, all of the tight ends are options for us. I've been drafting a fair bit of Devon Achane. I think in a 10-team format, it's even more fun to do it because right here he could be my running back too. Take a look at some of the wide receivers. I think in a 10-team format, a little more shallow, only need to have two wide receivers. We're going to want more, though, in a full PPR. But in this format, I might be inclined to wait another round and then attack wide receiver a little bit more aggressively at the 4-5 turn. Names here would be Olave, Ayuk, Evans, Collins, Diggs, Debo. I mean, you'd have to get down to Waddle, DJ Moore, Pittman, Cooper Kupp, Malik Neighbors, DK Metcalf to really get into the range of names that I'm really enamored. So as a result of that, we could consider just going with, as I fix some of the settings here, going with something else. Third round, I think we'll start to see some quarterbacks go off the board. So let's see what it looks like to draft Josh Allen. We're basically going a zero wide receiver build, which is not something you typically see from me on this channel with these mock drafts. But I just want to see what it would look like. 10-team league, it's okay to do things a little bit differently. I typically play larger leagues, 12 teamers, 14 teamers. If anybody wants deep league content as well, drop that info in the comments. What do you want to see? Because it might benefit me to do some 14 team mocks on this channel as well. All right, we can stop looking at QB because we don't have to take another one. Looking at the wide receiver position, I think our gamble honestly pays off a little bit. We lose out on guys like Kupp, DJ Moore, and Waddle because of waiting, but we can still draft some really good wide receivers at this turn. Pittman, Neighbors, Metcalf, Smith, Flowers, Tank Dell. I'm in on all those guys. Let's go with Neighbors, and let's go with Devontae Smith. Those are going to be our two picks at wide receiver. Could have gone with any of those names that I mentioned. Let me know from that group of players who was your favorite. Who did I need to come away with there, and did I get anybody that you're targeting? I like Neighbors. I like Smith. Smith is the number 2 behind A.J. Brown, but a lot of times, man, those guys end up a little bit more closely ranked than you'd think week to week. I think A.J. has more upside, but I drafted Devontae in the 5th. A.J. Brown went at the 9th overall pick. So we're pretty happy with our pick there. Okay, now taking a look at our roster. We love the upside we have here at the running back position with McCaffrey and Achane. Neighbors and Smith. We like our receivers. We like the upside. We need more of them, though. We need more of them to fill out our flexes. And hey, we do have the number 1 ranked quarterback. I do think Josh Allen is worth it, personally, in the 3rd round. Would I draft him earlier than that? Probably not. But I think there is a bit of a difference between Allen and then you get into the Mahomes, Hurts, and Lamar Jackson tier. I think Allen's going to run a ton. He'll throw some picks. He always does, but the upside is tremendous. He'll be breaking in a new crop of pass catchers on that team as well, and I think he'll get those guys assimilated. Rashee Rice is too low. We'll take him. He's just ranked too low. Was a bit of a tight end run here between Andrews, Pitts, Kincaid, and McBride. So we're looking a little bit lean potentially at this position, leaner than we want to be, honestly, in a 10-team league. But we're going to make sure that wide receiver ends up as a strength of our roster. That's the plan here. That is the plan here. And you know what? I'm going to take my first T. Higgins share. Let me make sure I'm not missing anybody. We could go Kittle. That would figure out our tight end. We could go Amari Cooper, but I think T. Higgins will just be the team of high-end wide receiver twos, Devontae Smith and T. Higgins. Higgins, I have a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth about T. Higgins because of previous seasons, injuries, and he was in that situation a couple of times where Zach Taylor said, "Oh, he's going to play," and then he doesn't, plays a snap. But T. Higgins in the 7th round, that's why I feel comfortable doing what we did at the top, taking multiple running backs in a row. Because then you can grab guys like Rashee Rice and T. Higgins to be your flex. We'll continue to attack wide receiver, though. This gives me carte blanche to really attack the wide receiver position, the upside that I have at running back. More tight ends go off the board, and that does scare us a little bit. So even though I think we're the last team to take a tight end, everybody else now has one except for us. You never know. This CPU could decide to take another one. And we still have a shot at Brock Bowers or Jake Ferguson. You could take your pick. I think either are very fun options. I'm not going to waste any time, though. I've got Bowers ranked a little bit higher. And I think we lucked out, honestly, with Njoku going ahead of Bowers because I don't have it ranked that way. So we end up with a tight end in a 10-team format that does have upside. He's a rookie. There's risk associated with that. But waivers should be somewhat friendly to us in a 10-team league anyway. I would like Kyler Murray at this range if I didn't go early QB, but because I did, we don't have to even look at the QB tab. Jaden Reed is sitting there at the top of the board. This could be a time to add to our plethora at the wide receiver position. I think I like Jaden Reed a little more than McConkey. JSN, Keon Coleman. We could stack with Keon Coleman, Brian Thomas, Christian Watson. You could even consider Hollywood Brown, but we do have Rice. I think Jaden Reed's going to be my pick here. I think there's upside, and I want a piece of that Packers offense, and I'm getting it in the ninth round. That's a good price to pay. Could have considered RB, but I'm just out. This is still dead zone, guys, in my opinion. Chubb, Mostert, Zamir White. If you were to paint a picture of the RB dead zone this year, Zamir White would be on the very front center of that photograph. Just have zero interest. I will have zero shares of Zamir White. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I can live with being wrong about certain guys because I'm targeting guys I like in those rounds instead. So I can still feel good about where I am. This stage of running backs does begin to get a little bit interesting after the run that we saw here. I like guys like Brooks. I like Javonte. That's where the dead zone kind of ceases for me. And now I'm like, all right, let's try to get as many of these guys as we can. We missed out on some good guys right here in the last 5 picks, but that's okay. Let's double back to wide receiver. We've got 5 of them, but there's one still sitting here that I really do like. It's Brian Thomas. I think in the 10th round. I'm not crazy assuming that Brian Thomas is going to emerge right away as a rookie in the NFL, but in the 10th round, yeah, it's a shallow league, 10-team league, but I like the value there for sure. Like that quite a bit. Now we do want to make sure we've only got, what, 3 picks left? So we do want to make sure to get a couple more running backs before we get out of here. Could also go with a backup quarterback. I don't mind the idea of taking one of the rookies to stash on the bench. Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams would be the 2. It's too early to do that, though, right now when I still have running back slots to fill on my bench. I don't have a bench running back yet. So let's look at those. We're going to dial in, take a quick peek at wide receivers. I like JMO. I like some of these guys in this tier. We already have a Packer, so no need for Christian Watson. It's going to be a running back. Trey Benson, I think, has good PPR upside. And he's going to be a guy that gets better and more relevant for fantasy as the year goes along. I like Blake Corum. I like Chase Brown. Let's take a Trey Benson share, though, here and see if any of those guys do get back to us. I did have half a mind to go Jake Ferguson because he fell a couple more rounds before anybody took a backup. The Njoku team becomes the first to take a backup. I think that's right because I'm not too high on Njoku. He'll be fine in certain weeks, but I don't know. I don't really want that Cleveland offense to be something I have to rely upon. We end up taking Trey Benson, and look, I mean, we've got more running backs that drop to us because everybody started drafting backup quarterbacks. I don't think that's going to happen in a real league, but you never know. It's like the trend began and nobody else wanted to miss out on it. Daniels and Caleb are the only 2 that I would consider for backup quarterbacks, and we didn't get either of them. So let's grab Chase Brown. He's our RB4. That's great. We feel very good. And now we just kind of can make a luxury pick here to wrap things up. Drafted a lot of rookies at wide receiver, Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors. So I guess just 2 rookies, but I count Brock Bowers as a receiver. He's a tight end. But 3 rookies. So we could decide, and Trey Benson is a rookie at running back. A lot of year 2 guys. Devontae Chan sitting there. So we could make a decision to Chase Brown, a year 2 guy. We could make a decision to grab a nice little veteran. I love me some Tyler Lockett. I might make him my last pick here. But when you think about wide receiver and how we are standing here, after not taking one until round 4, Neighbors, Devontae Smith, Rasheed Rice, T. Higgins, Jaden Reed, and Brian Thomas, I think we honestly might have enough. Let's grab another rookie running back. We'll take Corum. I think Corum ends up being super duper relevant if something happens to Kyron Williams. So that's the reason we go that route. We're just stacking up in 10-team leagues because if something happens to McCaffrey or Devon Achane, we do want some dart throws that could potentially slide in for us. And Benson, Chase Brown. Didn't mean to click that. Sorry, Xavier Legette. Wasn't trying to look at you like that. Those are some interesting names here, I think. I like what we did with this 10-teamer. It's easy to draft in the 1.1, let's be honest. Because one of the key strategies to me this year as we'll close out our team and let everybody look at the draft board. One of the key strategies this year to me, as you look at the way the first couple of rounds unfold, you got to leave with at least one good running back from that kind of tier. And to me, Derrick Henry's the cutoff. He ended up sliding in this draft, but when you're drafting 1-1, it becomes very easy to get a great running back from that tier. You just take McCaffrey. The wide receivers go. The other round one running backs go. It snakes around to Gibbs, to Jonathan Taylor, to Kyron, to Etienne, to Achan. I think Achan, for me, is a lot of fun at the back of the second. And then because I was able to get two running backs I love, and I know the value at wide receiver in the mid rounds, rounds 4 through 10, I'm attacking wide receiver and leaving with the tight end if I can. That's kind of the strategy. I might as well just take Josh Allen there because I know that I'm going to be happy with my receivers when it's all said and done. So that's kind of the way that it played out, and I enjoyed that. I thought that was good. Let me know what you thought of this mock draft, how you think we did, and what other draft positions you'd like to see me go from. We'll be having more videos for the next couple of weeks, hitting it hard here on YouTube. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. And then during the season, it'll be waiver content. And more than anything, it'll be, I'm going to tell you how to trade in your league. It is the most often overlooked, but also the most fun part and kind of difficult part of fantasy football to thread the needle, to get your league mates to trade with you. Big key component of that is you need to know what they need. Not only what you need or want, but what does your opponent need and want to be able to make a good trade happen. It is such a key aspect of it. It's overlooked. We're going to be working on it all season long on the channel. So appreciate you guys for dropping a subscription. Check out the live stream. We're going to go with another live stream on Monday night. Have had a lot of fun with those the last couple of days. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.